Welcome back to the Tu-Vie podcast, your TV movie entertainment needs podcast. I am your host, James, and sitting with me, as always, is our resident comic expert, my good friend, Colin. How you doing, pal? How's your week?
I'm good. I'm good. Long week, but
Yeah,
doing pretty good now. Doing
yeah,
pretty good now.
that's good. I
We're
like the little
back.
setup in the back. That was a good call for you setting up the Fantastic Four logo in the back. As today we are talking about an old classic here, Marvel versus DC. We haven't had a conversation like this in almost an actual year because I remember the first thing we did was a new DCEU recap, and then shortly afterwards, when Cameron first joined, that's when we actually got Superman Legacy news, the very
We did.
first
Oh,
beginning of it.
live breaking.
It was great live when we recorded, 3 days later when we posted, but it was still great to kind of get back into that. So let's get into it. This week we've had just so much Marvel DC back and forth. It was like they're trying to outbeat one another with all these different information. The first thing I kind of want us to go back into, since it's something that you have had planned and you just chose not to do because you got all the tickets for it. It's Spider-Man Mondays. It's round 4
Yeah.
of the 8 rounds of what they're doing. And if you still haven't heard, they're re-releasing all 8 Spider-Man movies for one whole week, going from uh
For each one day in each week.
is it only just Monday?
It's only Monday. Spider Mondays. Every
Oh,
Monday.
okay. I
It's
thought it
gonna
was a whole
stretch
week.
from no, no, no,
Oh, oh wow. Okay, so I'm sorry. It is just the singular Monday for a singular week, going from
no,
late April
no.
to June. It was like first month,
Okay,
like
okay, okay.
April 18th, and
The
then
singular
April
week was
23rd.
throwing me off with the
Well,
way
it's
you were
like
saying.
for only one week that Monday they're having a Spider-Man, and it's
For
just
only
that
one
one
day
for only
in a
one
week.
day. I really thought it was a whole week.
No,
Oh
that would
wow.
be too much.
I get. You
They
really
would
think
lose a lot of money. They would lose a lot of money.
they would lose a lot of money? You know how many times I would
Well,
want to go
I
see?
mean, but like I know, but also not everybody has like
You know, that's
available
fair.
time.
That's fair.
So
That's
like,
fair.
you know,
But
picking a day.
Mondays, everyone's got. That's the perfect day of the week.
I know, but it's long enough for you to be able to plan.
That is true. So you were going to go see because you had tickets to go see the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's first go, and you
Yes.
chose not to. So we got into a
I
long conversation about that.
Yeah. Because at that time I was seeing it with my girlfriend,
Mm,
and we I forget what we had, but we ate a lot.
mm.
And it no, we went to CC's Pizza, and I picked out. She only had like one plate, but I had like three plates. One of them just had like every single slice of pizza that they could offer me. Ate all of it. Tried their new Oreo pizza. Had two slices. Had three cinnamon rolls. Had like 9 or 10 slices, and we played air hockey. Um,
That
it
sounds
was
awesome. Those
awesome,
cinnamon rolls really get
awesome.
you. Those things are
They hit.
rocks. They are
I know. I
rocks.
noticed they no longer have the brownies,
I
which
was
I
gonna
was
say they don't have. I was gonna ask you if they had the brownies, and I also remember they had twisted garlic bread or something like that. Do they
yes.
still have that?
No, but they do have
Mm,
bread, and I did eat that
okay.
bread. Well, aside from all the other bread that's decorated with tomato sauce and cheese and all sorts of stuff, dude, it was so. I still think about that. As soon as we got home, I was like,
It's a
I'm
good
kind of
place.
mad at myself that I didn't have more.
It's also, you mean you get your money's worth easily, easily.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't go there
yeah.
full. It's
Also,
great.
those claw machines are scams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was gonna do some romantic, like, hey,
You
I'm gonna
didn't
win
know
you
that?
a prize. No, I spent $15 trying to
Oh,
get, trying to get her something.
how do you
I think it was,
not? That's like that's like a well-known thing that claw machines are scams,
I just see those YouTube videos of them like doing the claw machines, and I was like, it's not that hard. It was.
bro. I think genuinely for sure that CC's has a lower chance of getting things because I think they get a handful of the grease they made the pizza in, and they just go along the edge of the
It's
spikes.
it's like their claw machine because it gives up. Like it gets all like impotent, like it just can't get it up anymore. And then they just drop the ball, no pun intended.
Yeah, man, it is. What's the difference between most men over 50 and a claw machine? Ain't nothing different. Absolutely. I think claw machines have been always a scam because I think I spent $6 when Sophia and I were first trying to date. She like tapped me on them. She's like, let's just give up. Like she could see that determination in my face. I wanted to spend every bit of money to get a single anything. And I
I
didn't
just
I hated it. It's such a stupid thing.
I
Like,
told her, I was like, hey, I can't get you a stuffed animal, but you know what? You can have this dried up card, and that'll be a token of how determined I was to
yeah,
getting you
ew, why
something.
was it dried up?
Well, dried up as in like there's no money on it. You have
Oh,
to use
sorry.
a
I think
card.
meant like the edges were getting crusty or something. Like, did they just give you like a reused card? Or did you keep a card
How
and you just
hard am I
reuse that?
pushing in?
Yeah, you
You
just kept
know,
swiping, man. You wanted to get that stupid teddy bear. Let me guess, was
I
it like
was, I
red?
was, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I
Did I
was a
really guess
little,
that?
I was pissed off.
Did it
I
really?
couldn't
Did it
get.
guess the correct color?
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah,
Bingo. That's awesome. But you decided to stay home from Amazing Spider-Man because
yeah.
you'd rather watch it on your iPad or something?
Because we took a nap, and when we woke up, like,
That's right.
she was like, we gotta get up, baby, and I was like,
Ooh.
ah, I couldn't move. We were stuffed,
Mm.
and then I thought, like, we can sit out for this one.
Yeah. And
This
then
is
that's
the
when we
Amazing
had a
Spider-Man one.
20-minute argument over the goods and bads of this movie because
It was a discussion. It wasn't an argument. I
well,
wouldn't say it was an
yeah,
argument.
well, there were parts that got heated. But I think there's a lot of
But
this
really?
a little bit about the kid saving him saving the kid from the car or the car from the
Oh,
whatever.
for some reason, I just hate that kid.
I yeah,
I was
for
like,
some
you could have
reason
let him drop Spider-Man.
I still
You
don't
should
get
have
it.
let him die, Parker.
I gotta get into that. Don't forget. But I think that movie you can miss, and it's fine to watch it on any screen as long as it's not your phone.
Yeah,
Why watch it like on at least an iPad? But there are bits in
it
that movie that don't work, and a lot that just also doesn't work. Just
there's
doesn't.
I think because what makes Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man how they're so different and one is better than the other, and just stay with me on this one, is that despite all of the flaws with Spider-Man 3, it was still memorable. People still talk about it. Like like think about it. Like how many quotable lines can you think in the Amazing Spider-Man 1?
Well, the one we kept saying was "Poor Peter Park." Everyone I'm thinking about it comes back to Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, for you,
No,
for
no. The one
you.
where it's just like, "Don't you know I'm Electro?"
It's my birthday. Now it's
Yeah,
time for me to light my candle.
or
It's
just
so
even like where he was like, "I was washing the flag," like just like small quippy stuff like that.
nobody washes the flag, Peter. Nobody washes the flag. Well, I do, and
Yeah, I think
it's
what's
so
her name?
good.
Sally Field was a great choice for Aunt May. I'm not gonna argue
Yeah,
that. I thought she was great. I like Sally
superior.
Field, so I think she was a good choice for that. And I didn't realize the time difference between Amazing Spider-Man 3, not Amazing Spider-Man 3, just Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man was like 5 years.
Yeah,
And the
like
difference between the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming, no, what was hold on. Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in
2014.
did it really?
Yep,
And then when did Civil War come out?
2016.
So there was a 2 year difference between a Spider-Man getting into the MCU and from Sony.
Yeah, Sony was like crunching numbers, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 wildly like it performed under any Sony whoever expectations, because they also spent so much money on that movie
What was the
too,
budget?
where they Avengers level, I believe.
You keep talking about. Oh, it's $230 million,
Yeah,
and it
and
only made. Oh, hold on. That does not sound right.
but
Well, hold on, because it said worldwide. I'm trying to just figure out a domestic number here. Hold on, let me see. So box office budget was 200 million estimate. Gross worldwide was 708 million. U.S. Canada was 202.
yeah,
So it
like
kind of made
they
its money.
it kind of made its money, but it also was like, because the Amazing Spider-Man 1 performed bigger
Way bigger.
than the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Like I
I
think it made like 700 million.
let's look at that.
Or no, 1 billion, I believe.
A
I think it hit 1 billion.
billion?
I think
No,
it hit 1 billion.
no. So the budget for the Amazing Spider-Man was $30 more than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There was a $30 million decrease in the last budget. It grossed in U.S. Canada 263 million, gross worldwide $758 million.
Okay.
So not that much different.
Really?
If Amazing Spider-Man 2 made $1 billion, then I Can Grow Wings. Like there was
No,
no
no, no, no,
way.
no. The first one,
Yeah.
I thought the first one hit 1 billion.
No, no, I don't think even that one made $1 billion because I think that
Yeah,
one was. I remember walking out of Amazing Spider-Man feeling confused for a lot, even very very young at like 10 or 11 years old. I was like, I
yeah.
didn't feel right because we were both arguing, not arguing, we were both agreeing the punk attitude of Peter Parker in the beginning. Very very
I
interesting.
don't like because one of the yeah the discussion that we had, my opinion on it was that because like even in the first Amazing Fantasy, Peter, even in the first Spider-Man, like Peter is like he's a little bit, like he's got these powers, but it's also like nobody can mess with me now. Nobody like but also like even before he even got his powers, it's like yeah, he's a little bit angsty, his he thinks his parents abandoned him or something, and he's living with his aunt and uncle and he's in high school, but he's also kind of just this punk skater kid who even like the first scene that we get of like Peter with his aunt and uncle, like Aunt May's like, I'm gonna make meatloaf. And he's like, ugh, meatloaf. And I'm like, you
Also, what's
immediately
wrong with
that's
Meatloaf? Meatloaf kind of rules if you make it
well, I
right.
yeah, but like Uncle Ben kind of brings it back where he's like, something's really wrong. And then Uncle Ben's like, yeah, nobody likes your meatloaf. And there's like that cute moment where like Peter leaves and he has all the food and she's like, why didn't you tell me you didn't like your meatloaf? We've been married for 40 years. How many meatloaves have I made for
Yeah,
you? Just
we both said
they
that
saved the movie.
yeah, yeah, that Aunt May and that Ben Parker was so good up until he gives the speech about great responsibility.
I was gonna say up until he dies, he didn't need to grab the gun. He would have lived.
I think, yeah. I mean, I get like they wanted to show that Ben was like still the hero in the end of it, and I get that, but I don't know, man. And there's so many things we went back and forth on that, and that movie is hit or miss. And if it's your favorite Spider-Man movie, we're not gonna say you're wrong. I can't say it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I can't say that the Amazing Spider-Man movies are even in my top seven favorites. No, that doesn't make any sense. Top five
You know what
favorites.
it is? I think it's that effect of Ben Affleck's Batman with his hold on with
No,
his like
I'm just curious
portrayal.
to see where you go with this.
Okay, so and just work with me
I'm
because
hearing
it's
you.
gonna sound weird when I explain it. It'll make a
Sure.
little bit more. So with Andrew Garfield being casted as Spider-Man, we see he has the acting chops. We even see it like in little glimpses of like improv or like, he's not like he's trying to turn a middle schooler's script into like something of a performance, something that has a little bit more merit than just
Yeah.
like read lines off of a page. And you can tell like people love the idea of Andrew as Spider-Man because he's got the look, he's got the physique, he's got like the talent
Got a bit of a charm.
with he's got charm with Ben Affleck's Batman. Like, we don't like that portrayal of Batman as like, how he is, but we also love the build, we love the attitude, we love what we saw with the Batman aside from a few different issues.
Yeah.
He's a good Batman in a bad Batman movie, the same as Andrew is a good Spider-Man in a bad Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that fits it perfectly. And quick thing I wanted to just to veer off on our letterbox. You guys can go check on the letterbox. Our spider list, and I included Spider Verse movies because those are incredible. They deserve to be a part of this list. So out of all 10 movies, it goes across the Spider Verse, into the Spider Verse, Homecoming, and Spider Man Two, Spider Man No Way Home. That's the first five. That's my
yeah,
opinion of the first five. And then it goes Spider Man, Tobey Maguire's first one, Far From Home, Amazing Spider Man, Spider Man 3, Spider Man 2. Well, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, TASM 2. I can't fight this list any harder because I don't think No Way Home is as just it's not as bad as everyone remembers it to be.
I think I think people are a little bit tired of, the fan service, just a little bit.
But like I think the fan service in this way kind of made sense because they didn't like
It
this is
did.
very quick. No, hold on, it's very quick because I'm gonna just make this very quick. In the
Okay.
part where Peter were talking, when Peter was listening, you know, Toby was saying like, you got anything? And he's like, nah, I'm not really doing anything. And Andrew's just kind of denying that, he's been on his own, not really want to talk about it. And then Toby, he's like, yeah, me and MJ worked it out. It's very quick. Like you can see that the relief is there, that the struggles that they had is gone. And Peter's okay with just being Spider-Man, but he still wishes he could be Peter. And I think that the interaction was great. That says a
Yeah,
billion words.
yeah. I think it was an unspoken thing where it they found a healthy way to make the Peter and Spider duality work out,
Yeah.
where it's comfortable for Mary Jane and for Peter, and that little thing where it was hard, but we made it work.
Yeah, and that's the good kind of fan service I kind of wanted, because I didn't want something that was like, huh, "Hey guys, did I introduce you to my wife, Mary Jane?" And then it's just
Just
Kirsten Dunst.
exposition comic book, like, here's my wife, Mary Jane Watson from next door, that I grew up with, and we fell in love, and just like word vomiting all of
Yeah,
this
I
history,
I'm glad it just
where
wasn't like that. It
just those small actions or interactions or tone and dialogue kind of like explains like
Yeah,
the history. Andrew pulled it perfectly too,
it's so good.
because you can tell he's also his insecurities, where because it's kind of meta too
Yeah,
with him, where Toby goes like, can we walk back a little bit, because you are amazing. Can you
yeah.
say, he's like, yeah. I kind of needed to hear
Yeah,
that.
no, the whole thing was great, and to kind of continue on with everything that's going on. So there's a lot of stuff we got to cover here. The re-release of the Raimi movies alone made around $3.2 million, and if you go watch our Spectacular Spider-Man episode, I believe that's the one where I made the guess.
Wait, combined,
A
or
combined 3.2 million.
I thought the Spider-Man 2 made like more.
I'm talking with the re-release of Spider-Man Mondays.
I know. I thought I heard somewhere that
So
like Sam
Spider-Man
Raimi's
2
Spider-Man
was the
2
most
made like
successful.
7.
So the Spider-Man 2 alone made 805,000. That was that
Okay.
alone. And then this first Spider-Man movie made 681, and then I couldn't get the number for Spider-Man 3. But their combined total was around $3.2 million.
Hmm.
And like I said, Spider-Man 2 is gonna be the most successful because that one of that trilogy is great.
That's the budget of Madam Web.
That is a little, I think, a little close,
At
but
higher, actually.
3.2 million, that's way higher, bro. There's barely anything. Like I think indie is like 5, I think.
Yeah, they're making that CW money.
Yeah, they're making CW money. There you go. And I think for the next round, because TASM 2 may make a little more than what the Amazing Spider-Man did, mainly just because that TASM 2 has a lot more going for it than TASM 1 did, because it has the kid interaction at the end. It has Jamie, as much as the Jamie Foxx stuff was cringy, I still think he was a great Max Dillon on and off from Far Way Home. I think he was great. Uh, of course, you got the opening sequence with the web swinging, just the small interactions between him and Gwen. But then past that, I'm okay, because I don't really need him and Harry hanging out by that carousel. Him going, "That's the question."
That's the question.
Okay, could be a him or her. We don't know.
My dad left me a briefcase, just a briefcase full of junk. I don't know. I try not to think about it.
That's not Andrew. That is
That is Andrew.
that is not.
He has this weird, thick New York accent that pops in and out. It's
I
strange.
gotta try and find more clips about that then, because that's
Yeah.
that's interesting. I gotta try and look. But I do think out of all the costumes for the movies, Andrew had a lot more going for it, because
I'd say, yeah, and I
that's my
say
guy.
the aesthetic of, because the cinematographer that worked on that was the J.J. Abrams cinematographer. Um, yeah,
Really?
that's why that movie looks so freaking good, dude.
Wow.
And I'd say the aesthetic and look of that entire movie is what people remember, like what people imagine that world of Spider-Man with Andrew is like, more so than that weird copy of Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which is like, which, because like since the Nolan movie, because that was even their plan. It's like Sony was like, we need to go for something a little more darker. Batman. Batman being the character that's all dark and grim, and needs to be like gritty and realistic. Let's do that with Spider-Man, somebody who is not like that.
Yeah, and the best thing about that entire movie, I think we know what it is. Paul
For
Giamatti.
you, for
No, it was Paul Giamatti as Alexi, as the Rhino, and him just screaming
it's
every.
Alexi Savage.
I.
Did they picked him up from a cartoon.
It
He was
looked
somewhere.
like Paul Giamatti was getting ready for Comic Con, and that was just like it's like they just pulled him off and they just put him in a movie. I
You
just would
know
have
those
never
like
guessed Paul Giamatti as the
those
Rhino.
comedies like with Will Ferrell, like when he like does get hard and he just dresses up like a gangster to try to fit in.
I never did
It's
watch that, but
like
I know what you're saying.
it reminded me of like those comedies of like the main characters that do nothing like that and just dress up and
Oh
they
yeah,
look wrong.
it looked so wrong. It looked like
And
they like pulled him from the MCU and put him in this movie. Like it was very, very, very different. And I just it was
it looked like they pulled him from a coke bender.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mid snort. Yeah, absolutely. And with everything that's going on with Spider-Man going into what's going on with Marvel right now, I I don't know if you guys have been seeing on our TikToks, we've been talking a little bit about this, but Marvel's cutting back. Marvel's cutting back a lot. And I think that is the best idea possible
That's what
because
we've been asking for.
we've talked about it a lot on this, and Cameron has said they need 5 good new movies. But I think with that in mind, and as well as them slowing down, I think that's the best thing they could possibly do right now because someone, I don't remember who it was saying that, like, I think it was like the president of visual, like, it was someone else in Marvel that was saying that when you can't really ignore what's been happening with our successes lately. It's not something that we're proud of, but we address it, we're going to figure out a different way to approach these things because playing catch up wasn't the best call. And I have been saying that since 2020. I have been saying that for 4 years that they had been trying to play catch up. They were trying to be back where they were. It's very hard to become the icon you were when the way you left it was this is an old era we're leaving behind. We're setting up a new era, and then the movies you have made don't set much else up other than a sequel. Like, Captain Marvel is a great character on page. I don't necessarily see all the work they're going for on screen. Kamala Khan is a great character on page and was a great character in her show. The show was fine, but I
Yeah.
just think like She-Hulk is a great character. The show was fine. It just didn't have really that clear vision. Like at the beginning, I could see where they were going. She Hulk, Hero at Law, or whatever it was called. I think it's kind of interesting.
Well,
Attorney at Law. I think it's kind of interesting showing, the Jen Walters side as much as it was showing the She Hulk side. I thought that would be kind of cool. And it was introducing Daredevil. But then it like didn't really give us an ending. Like she didn't necessarily take down the villain. She rewrote the villain and the ending itself. And I get she does break the fourth wall, and that was really well done.
but that was also only in John Byrne's She-Hulk,
Yeah, but
which
that's kind
was
of like a,
great.
a running thing that they still include, don't they?
No,
Oh, really?
she doesn't break the fourth wall.
Well, that's like what she's known for, and yet they don't
No,
continue it.
she's no, because I
Arguably,
didn't
what known
know.
for.
Somewhat,
Yeah,
but it's confusing. But the comic she's in now, like she's a part of the Avengers. She had her own like solo series
yeah.
since then.
She's had it once or
Didn't
twice.
didn't do that. Didn't do that again.
Hmm.
It was only in John Burns because it was like it's weird, but they made a creative choice that inevitably had them shoot themselves in their own foot. But I and I'm sorry to cut you off like
No,
that,
no,
but
no. This
it's
is no. You're the resident comic expert. I'm the resident movie guy. That's kind of like what.
um and I didn't like I I'd say that I wish I liked her character, but I can only say that I like the actress. Again, it's the Andrew Garfield Ben Affleck effect, where it's
Hmm.
like you have a really great actress that can be a great She-Hulk in a bad She-Hulk movie. I mean show.
Yeah,
And
Tatiana Maslany was or Maslany is so great as She-Hulk. I
Great,
thought she was a
great.
great choice, and I would love for her to come back every time that she can to play She-Hulk. I'd like for her.
And
I'd like for Marvel to bring back She-Hulk.
also to touch on, because I just want to just make this
Yeah.
clear, like my feelings for like the Marvels have kind of gone away, the harsher ones.
Mm.
Because I do like Captain Marvel now with how they did her, where she's not so wooden, and
Yeah. I mean,
it
I'm.
is
Yeah.
somewhat of a it's somewhat of a fun movie. I just wish it, because it feels very confusing.
It does. Yeah.
The new
Yeah.
phases are confusing, and
And
it's
you're saying that. Yeah. You're
jarring.
saying the same. Yeah. And the thing is, I like. You know me. I did like Captain Marvel when I first watched it. I did like it, and I still do, to the degree where it's like I feel like when for any hero, male or female, and this is so white guy podcast thing to say, male or female. I just think that like when any hero has their own story, showcasing that they are male or female, which I know that a lot of the market is saturated in male superheroes. I understand that. There are some great stories that the female superheroes have had. But I think
Yeah,
with the whole reminding us she isn't a common male hero takes away from the fact that you are watching it happen. Like
I
it
had this
doesn't make
discussion.
sense. And then the whole Jude Law thing where he's like, "Way to go, man. This is exactly what I taught to you." It's like, "What are you talking about?" Like it made
Are you
no
talking about
sense.
when he kicked her ass, when she kicked her ass, and he was like, "I'm so proud of you."
Yeah. Yeah, it's at the
No,
very end of the movie.
that was a funny moment because he was clearly lying. He just was like,
I
he was clear,
know, but it's
he was
like
trying to get himself out of that. That was the
but the thing
context
is
of
that
that.
like you like this is the part of the movie where they're supposed to be like, no, I'm the hero now, and I get that, but it takes away from the fact where it's like you're making a joke out of it. Like there has to be a joke here when there it doesn't need to be a joke. Like that, like one of my favorite shots in Captain Marvel. It's very quick, but it's after she takes out all the ships. She's standing in front of Ronan the Accuser and does the fist pump and the boom, sick. I love that shot. It's so good. And I
Yeah,
liked how they when she went binary, everything was like it was very Super Saiyan, but I liked that. It was kind of cool. And there's a lot of things that I did like about that movie. It's just it felt like when there were had to be jokes or the stupid claw of the eye with Nick Fury. We talked about that. So
it's
dumb.
dumb. I had this, I forget who I had it with, but I had this discussion where because this person they wanted more inclusivity where like they touch on like other people's cultures or races, and they were a little bit confused because they were attaching themselves to like characters that represented them, like their skin color, and they're like, why can't they have like, let's say, a Captain America being black, or any all these other like, I'm trying to move along with the
I know.
point here,
I get you. I get
trying
you.
to say. And I explained to them, I was like, and the best I could, because also I don't, whatever, I don't want to get my, regardless, what I was trying to say is that Peter Parker, nobody likes Peter Parker because he's white. They like Peter Parker because he is a good kid where his story can happen to anybody else who lives his life of responsibility after tragedy, where his uncle planted that seed into him.
Yeah.
People don't like Superman because he's white. They like him because he is the biggest and strongest guy in the room and could take anybody out, but chooses to be the bumbling idiot persona, because that's how he is. And,
I love
people
that a
like
lot.
Captain America because he's strong and he holds values not only for his country, but for his world. People like Batman because he's persistent and strong and faces gods, knowing that he can be slayed at any moment, but always has a get out of jail free card at any moment.
Yeah, and
You
there's a
know,
lot of great things like that, and that's what Stan Lee
and
even created
and
Spider-Man for. He's like, the reason why he
yeah,
has a mask is that I don't want someone to just see him as one individual because he could be
and
anybody under there.
exactly. And the market now is that, no, let's forget about character traits. Let's forget about morals. Let's forget about building a character, because what'll sell them is somebody who is a person of color, and that's their only divining factor.
And
The same as like
that's
why I
recently in
didn't
comics. You're
really,
saying
what?
that's recently in comics? Is that what you're saying?
What are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about comics.
What?
When you said recently, I thought you were talking about in recent comics.
No, I'm saying that what I'm saying is that recently now,
Hmm.
that's what the entire market is all about. It's
Hmm.
about not having character traits. It's
Hmm.
not about, it's only about the color of your skin, and that's what's going to sell. Or
Hmm.
like whatever minority you can think of,
Hmm.
which is what a lot of people are feeling. Some of them a lot harsher than others,
Hmm.
and a lot more, vulgar about it. But the thing is that like with She-Hulk, it was mostly just hammering over the fact that she's a woman. And it's like, no, like She-Hulk in the comics, that wasn't her defining thing. She offered more with the character of Hulk than even Bruce Banner couldn't.
Hmm.
Where she had control over the Hulk persona and could switch it off whenever she wants and be a total badass.
Hmm.
Or even in other like stuff that you can see bleeding into the superhero mainstream, which is why like you have so many people going Marvel or DC for being woke. Some of them will still do that even when it makes no sense whatsoever. They're just being assholes because there is just a woman on screen.
Yeah,
But
some people, some guys just don't like seeing a woman on screen, and I don't understand that at all. You can dislike a character all you want. I don't care if you hate or like a specific Marvel character. I don't care because it's a fictional being. But if you're targeting the individual behind that being, like they did for Elizabeth Olsen, and they did for, oh shoot, the guy that played yeah, U.S. agent in Falcon Winter Soldier, Wyatt Russell, and they did for Tatiana Maslany, and they even did a little bit for Iman Vellani at first. It makes
yeah,
no sense. Like it makes zero sense how they can target the individual. And I see what you're saying because one of my favorite moments in theaters in the last few years was when I was watching Across the Spider Verse and Miles Morales came on, and so people cheered, like just some small hoots and hollers. And then Gwen, well, actually, first Gwen appeared, and then small hoots and hollers. Then Miles appears, some a little louder, and then when Victor Pavakar came on screen, almost my entire theater was clapping and hooting and hollering, and I loved that. And me and some other people were hooting and hollering when Hobie Brown came on because we were almost pissing our pants because he finally came on screen. Yes, but the thing is,
yeah,
I just think that's great that some people can see a character that represents their background, their individualism. It's great, and I
yeah,
think that Marvel does need to focus on the character, not for the sake of a character, but for the sake of connecting with us. Because I think making a story is great that can connect to individuals, but if it doesn't have a weight behind it, it just kind of feels for show. And I don't
yeah,
think Marvel creating stories and adding what makes those characters special is wrong. I've never thought that. Like one of my favorite things was in Ms. Marvel. They kept that whole thing that made Ms. Marvel so famous, that she was the first character from this background with this belief in this family, and it's
yeah,
beautiful and it's great. And I
and
just
yeah,
think that people need to remember there is a story behind all of this too. There's more to add from that. And I think a lot of people get caught up in a lot of different things. And that just kind of pisses me off. And I don't want to cut you short, but there is a lot of stuff before we get to DC I kind of want to cover real quick.
go for it.
So I just want to let you know you had some great points. I love what you were saying. We just got to get ahead because we can talk about this for literally all day. With them cutting back, they also were releasing some new news. So we oh, there we go. We did get our recent casting for Galactus, that is Ralph Ineson, who we have seen recently in The Green Knight or some episodes of Game of Thrones. He was also a Ravager in the background of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
He was also in the new Omen movie.
Really?
Yeah, that movie really screwed me up.
Really?
That that was I know you would hate it and it would change you.
Yeah, I'd hate it. But the fact that it scarred you is, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got that. And I don't know if you ever heard this man speak. Like it's so good. It's like very
It
raspy and low like that.
it's and like whenever like it was weird because when he was casted, I kind of tilted my head for a
Mm,
minute, and then like I was looking at all the comments, and it felt good that a lot of people are on the same page.
I agree. And I, as much as I would have
Wasn't it
wanted,
nice?
yeah, it's very nice to see that. But I do wish, just in the back of my mind, that Javier, I think Javier Bardem was in running for Galactus. I would have liked to see that, but I do like Ralph Ineson. I did not expect to see him on that
There's
post.
always a chance for Javier to be Doctor Doom.
Oh, that'd be good because there was rumor for Doctor Doom casting that made me want to bash my head in. You can guess on what part. So
I know.
you know how much I love Doctor Doom. If Doctor Doom, I swear to God, there is the one character that people have always said. It's like, oh, if they mess up blank, the MCU is dead for me. If they mess up blank, MCU is dead for me. If they mess up Doctor Doom for me, the MCU is dead to me, and I'm not being
Yeah.
funny. I
When
need
Doctor Doom is revealed and he takes his mask off and it's Kevin Hart.
It's it's like Andy Samberg. It's I swear to God. But I actually would love Andy Samberg more than these. So there's two of them I would love to see. The Doctor Doom rumor casting was Cillian Murphy. I think his voice would be great. I'm not sure about the physique because Doctor Doom has a more of like a stronger build physique, but that voice with
But
Cillian
that's also
Murphy,
armor. You could always
I know. I just don't want there to be so much CGI padding with him. I'd rather get something like practical like they did for the Fantastic Four movie.
they can do combine both of what they did with RDJ.
I get that. And you're not wrong there. I do agree. Mads Mikkelsen would be great. He's kind of got that build and everything. Even though he was already Caecilius, it would be a little confusing. So
It would be very confusing, and I would like to stray away from that.
I would like to stray away from that too. If he was never Caecilius, I would 100% agree. And then the last one that makes me want to kick my head through the wall, Ben Affleck. What? You get the most white guy playing a foreign ruler. You get a guy from Boston becoming the leader of Latveria. Can you imagine Ben Affleck being like, Fantastic Four, you want to go get Dunkin' Donut in Latveria? We just got a new one. Goodwill Hunting. Like,
That's
oh
kind of
my,
like when you get like Jerry Seinfeld as Doctor Doom. He's like, "What's the deal with Pym particles?"
what's the deal with the thing? I mean, he's a man of rock. Just start chipping away.
Like, let's get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. Come
I made
on.
a Pop Tarts movie that wasn't so good. But
How do you go to the bathroom?
yes, that's a good one. I think just here's my ideal Doom. Okay,
Chipping away. The coffee. No,
that
you just
that
start
was
chipping
that was
away.
so. How do you go to the bathroom? So but here's my ideal Doom. Roll with me. I want Henry Cavill's build. I want Henry Cavill to be the body, like how Hayden Christensen was the body for Vader in Obi-Wan. But then I want Maurice LaMarche, I hope I'm saying his name right, who voiced Doctor Doom in the Avengers Assemble TV show, to do the dubbing, like they did for the original Darth Vader. Because you
I
get
don't,
Cavill's 6'4" jacked build.
but you're also you want to do that to Cavill.
I would love, I don't want to do that to Cavill, I want to do that for Cavill.
I think that you skip at having another voice actor. You just
Ooh,
get Henry Cavill because also with that mask as
well,
well, they could always change his voice in post.
that's what I'm trying to say. They like when he has the mask off, he can be Doom. He can be
I
Victor.
know, no, but what I mean is when he puts it back on, instead of getting another guy to do the voice of Doom when he has the mask off, just change his voice, alter it. He has a deep voice, James. Have you seen his
I
movies?
know. I understand, and I watched a little bit of all of his movies,
Let's
and I've seen
get
it.
Cavill.
I would love Cavill, but if you haven't heard Maurice LaMarche,
I
his
have
his voice and the way that he carries the power of doom, like it's very poetic in a way, and it's very like
Experian, yeah.
yeah, and I love that. I love that part of Victor Von Doom. I love that he's Shakespearean, but I also love how egomatic he is. And so, in some versions of Doctor Doom, he has like a little scar on his eyebrow, and he still covers his face because he considers himself deformed because of that. So
I would hope.
I think getting Pretty Boy Cavill would be like that. I think it'd be awesome.
Well,
I'm just saying.
he was before.
I'm saying, but like there have been parts where instead of him getting completely deformed, like his face like meshing and all that stuff, there are some Dooms out there. It's been said the variants of Doom have like a little cut on his eyebrow or on his cheek, and they consider himself deformed and needs the mask because he considers himself visually deformed at that point. Not the fact that he actually is in most
Yeah, because
cases.
that's within his character. And when I learned that, I was like, That's
And that says
actually
so much to his
cool.
character. That says so much to his egotism, and it's so great. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. Whatever. His agmatic. He's got a big ass ego. Okay, it's great. But if Ben Affleck is Doctor Doom, I am not seeing the Fantastic Four. I want to watch the Fantastic Four because they just added John Malkovich and Paul Walter Hauser to the cast.
Who do you
Probably
think John Malkovich is?
Herbie, not Herbie. Kirby. I think he's gonna be Kirby.
No, it's Herbie.
It is Herbie. Okay, I thought I got it
No,
backwards.
no, no, Kirby, Kirby, Kirby.
Is it
You're right.
Kirby?
You're right.
No, hold on. I think it is Herbie F4. Oh, it is Herbie. I was right. Okay, you were right. Yeah, it is Herbie. I think John Malkovich could be Herbie. That's still Werner Herzog. I think John
Reed
Malkovich.
Richards, would you like more tea?
Johnny, let's go. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know. Couldn't think of anything there.
Johnny, you need to stop using your powers indoors. It is hard to clean these walls.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
Ben,
Herbie.
your pebbles are getting in the way. You need to. And then,
It
like, as a Roomba, like, as he's doing this, he's turning around and going over.
see because I also know that Valeria and I can't remember
Franklin.
Franklin. Thank you. Franklin and Valeria are rumored to be in the movie as well. I know, sorry, Franklin I think is gonna be in the movie. It's
I'm
rumor
sorry.
about
I
Valeria.
hate to cut
No,
you
I
off.
know.
I
I
have
totally
no
forgot
idea.
about
I
Franklin.
hate no no no. I hate that I can do a John
Hold on.
Malkovich voice.
Oh
I
no,
did.
I
I
love
never
it. Now
know
you
that.
can do now you see you're growing your skills on Tu-Vie. You learn new impressions while you're on here.
Speaking of, this podcast is brought to you by Skillshare.
It is
No, I'm
so
sorry.
not. It is so
It is
not.
not.
It
We'd
is
like
so
to.
not.
We'd like to be
If
sponsored.
anything, this podcast is brought to you by coffee. The thing is that I think Valeria and Franklin should be in the movie. Very last bit of it. Don't make them a whole character.
Well, you could always just have them as like infants, and then they'll
Yeah,
just grow up throughout the movies.
but
You know.
because Franklin's the older one, right? They're twins, right? No, they're not twins. No, Franklin was I think older by a few years.
Well, still, 2-year-old and a
Yeah,
baby.
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I think. I think they're gonna show like Franklin as a child and then Valeria as a baby because I know Doom and Galactus are gonna face off a bit in this movie, and I
Yeah.
firmly believe
Herald of Galactus, Doctor Doom. He was a herald.
no,
He was a herald.
it's so soon for. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think
No,
it's too
like
soon.
no, I'm not saying in this
Oh,
movie,
you
but I'm
know what?
saying you can start those breadcrumbs.
You know what? Let me tell you right now. Here's how I think it's gonna go. Okay, and it's just come close. Here's
Oh shit.
that was so loud. Okay. Colin broke his chair doing a bit. Sweet. Here's how I think it's gonna go. I think we're gonna get
Okay.
the Herald. We're gonna get the actual Herald of Galactus, which is where Jennifer Julia Garner, I think is her name. We're gonna get the the Silver Surfer, and we're gonna see that Herald. Doctor Doom's gonna face him off. Whatever Galactus. We're gonna see the
John
this.
Malkovich as Silver Surfer.
Oh my God! Please, to the good Lord, no. There is rumor because when the Fantastic Four announced the Silver Surfer being the Shala Ball with I think it's Julia or Jennifer Garner. I think it's Julia Garner. uh, what's the guy from Sorry to Bother You? Lakeith Stanfield. Lakeith Stanfield said, "Oh, so I'm not casted or something." So I think rumor is that he is going to be Norman, Norin. I think he's going to be Norton, Mister Rad. Thing is, my rumor is this. Not my rumor. My theory. The world that we see, because it's setting in an alternate universe, is going to fail. Galactus is going to eat this planet. The Fantastic Four are going to get to our universe through the Future Foundation.
That's a good theory.
But
I
hold
like
on,
that theory.
wait. There's more.
I'm just saying I like it.
I know. Hold on, just wait, just wait. It's the Salt Bay of it. The Future Foundation is going to be formed about midway through this movie, maybe even the last act. And I think with that, trying to escape, something's going to happen. Doom is going to be seen sacrificing himself for whatever, and into that becomes, without us knowing, God Doom. Because I think he's going to get sent to the void, and that is how we get into Secret Wars. I think God Emperor Doom is going to exist when the Secret War starts, because a lot of it's being rumored to be taking place in the void, like Deadpool 3 is. That's essentially going to be the battle world. I think you came up with that too.
No,
I think
yeah, the void is just gonna be their battle world.
yeah, and that's a great idea,
Because
and
like they already like have so many like different breadcrumbs of like universes
yeah,
colliding, stuff like that. I think that Doom is going to tame Goliath, as and that he's gonna that's gonna be, because Goliath was already being controlled by the one above all of, forget his name, but
yeah, the one above all. Okay,
and so I think that
not the one
Loki,
above all.
since that he is the god of stories, not only he might like send the warning, but Doom would probably take him out too, where he gets all control and he controls, because you see where this is going, how it can work out, how like the
Dude,
void is.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I think can happen, and there's a lot that's going on. So kind of popping into the DC format now, because I know we can't really get into this now since neither one of us are playing it. But Marvel Rivals is starting soon. The video game, the Overwatch game.
I think it already started.
I know
I've
we're
seen.
not, but we're not involved. Like I don't have a console that I can play, and you didn't sign up for the beta.
Oh no, I know, but it's like it started, like
Yeah, it
players
started.
playing.
I love the idea of an Overwatch Marvel game. They did include some new characters like Ultron, Human Torch, Cloak and Dagger, and Jeffrey the Land Shark. Love me some Jeffrey. That adorable little shark. Are you serious?
I didn't know that was the thing.
Dude, yes. Jeffrey the Land Shark, Deadpool comics, Gwenpool comics, so great. Moving on to the bigger stuff. Superman suit finally happened. You and I have talked a little bit about this throughout the week. Holy God, does it look good?
Yeah. Hey, anybody that hates on the suit, um, he's not coming back. Stop in the comments. I love Henry.
Yeah.
Quit, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Move on. Move
move
on.
on.
He's done.
My
He's
dad died.
definitely
I
done.
moved on.
Yeah,
You
your
can't.
dad
You can't
dying and
move
Henry
on.
Cavill not being Superman.
Those
Same
nerds.
level.
Your dad, bring Henry back. Restore the Snyderverse. There's your clip. There's your clip.
Yeah. Screw your dad. Bring back the
Oh god.
Snyderverse. Yeah,
But like
that's
I
perfect.
I am so sick. Like I love Henry Cavill. I'm not gonna say it's gonna make me hate him, but I hate fans. I hate fans. They suck. They're
Hey,
bad.
hey, don't
I
you
love our fans.
to them
I
you're a
love our fans.
traitor.
I love our friend. I play both sides. Um, I'm a little sneaky
You
devil.
haven't seen Game of Thrones, have you?
No.
Well, for
I'm
those who
wait.
have, and if you're listening, you watch Game of Thrones. He's very little fingers in our group. He's a guy that played both sides to his advantage.
Little fingers.
Okay, Colin, move on. David Cornsweet and the whole MCU lining of the suit. Shut up. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, over
What does that
detail.
mean?
I still don't understand it. People have been saying it's like over detailing. Some people have
Have
even
you
said it's
seen Henry's
unnecessary.
suit? They
It's
have
like
Kryptonian language on it.
I get that, and I guess it's kind of cool, but like I don't understand MCU lining for a suit that combines five different generations of suits into one. That doesn't make any sense because we
They
have the
did
new
that with they
what.
did that with Matt Reeves' Batman, and no one bitched.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. The thing is, what I like about the new suit is that, like I said, it combines, I think, four or five different generations. We have the new 52 one, like you see right here with the collar. You have someone's like the logo and the emblem itself is like a combination of the suit.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, something like that. And then you have the trunks and belt because it's so good. Now my everyone's curiosity is the logo on the cape or is it not on the cape?
That would be cool. The boots.
The boots. The boots. I love that he's actually putting on the boots.
Yeah, because
He's
like
just like us.
Doro's wondering where the boots were, but we found them. We
Dude,
found them.
we got it. Honest to God, I
Got
love,
it.
and I still don't understand what's going on in the background. It could be that character
It's
that's the giant
in
sun or whatever it is.
All Star Superman.
What?
Yeah.
All Star
No,
Super? Yeah.
from All-Star Superman.
Yeah. What was that villain? It was like a giant sun, right? Something like that.
I forget the name. It was some Grant Morrison-y like villain,
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember the name, but I know it's like it's got like it's like a sun shape with like spikes on it or something. I don't know.
and it like talks, and
It was very
it
like
was
ego. I don't know. The whole thing is that I think that's going to be the partial villain of the movie because we know Lex Luthor is the main villain, played by. Oh man,
you don't know.
I know his name. I can't remember his name. Uh oh, he was in Renfield. He was in Nicholas Holt. That's the one. He was in Mad Max Fury again. Nicholas Holt. Nick Holt. Nicky. I got excited. Okay. The thing is,
Just the way that you had your keyboard up and you're looking down.
I know. Shut up. And we have so many great characters like Nathan Garner, Guy Gardner with Nathan Fillion. We have Maria Gabriela de Faria. Hope I'm saying that name correctly. As the engineer, Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl, Rachel Brosnan, I think I'm saying that right, as Lois Lane, Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho. So many great characters, man. Just in one giant movie. Like there's so many. It's including Supergirl is gonna be crazy. I have zero clue how the story is gonna be.
So is it confirmed that she'll appear in Superman, or is it like?
Dude, it's got a it's she's I don't know if it's a cameo, I don't know if it's a supporting character, but Millie Alcock is Supergirl. She's got a whole cast and
Oh no,
everything.
I know. I just because I mean, she's getting her own movie. I just didn't know since that this movie's like jam packed that like,
I
and
didn't
I
know.
know that not all of them are gonna have like a major
Yeah.
role, but it's still gonna be like a lived-in
Yeah,
universe.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I love that.
Yeah, and like whenever like someone's like, "There's gonna be a packed cast," like, is this even Superman's movie? It's like it is, but like they're also like, this is the DC universe. It's a lived-in world. It's not like it's not like they're building a Justice League in one movie that's titled Batman versus Superman. I hate because
I know.
every time I talk shit about it, I have to remember there's recordings of me defending it.
And that's so funny. That is on the internet. In 1 year, you've had the biggest
Yeah,
psychological change.
yeah. I remember I texted you that day where I'm like, guys, I don't think I like
It was like
Batman versus
it was like
Superman.
9:30 at night, maybe even later. You were like, "Guys, I made a mistake. I've come around. Cameron's right." And the first thing I did was I called you. I was like,
Yeah,
"What?"
you called me. You okay?
Are
Are
you
you in the
okay?
dark place again?
It's like, dude, put it down. Put it down. It's okay. Like I was just trying to talk you off that ledge, man. I'm
I'm
gonna let.
basically I'm basically Casey Affleck in that one movie where he pulls the cop's gun out, tries to shoot him, but the safety's on, and everyone's pulling me down like, please.
Yeah, Manchester by the Sea. What a fun one to cameo in this one. Point is, there's a lot that's going on, and I just mainly want to know his workout plan that went from this guy where he wasn't, he wasn't out of shape, but then he became this man where he's a giant beast. Did you see the photo? I mean,
He
oh,
flew up to the sun.
bro, this they actually launched him in space and left him up there for a few minutes just to get that bulkiness. It's incredible. I love the boots. I love everything. I don't know what the plan is for this movie, but sign me up, dude. Like you said, it's a lived-in world, and I'm glad that they're not just like secretly coexisting like a lot of what the Marvel movies were doing.
Amen.
Like Iron Man. At the end, Nick Fury is like, "You think you're the only superhero in this world?" Love that. But then I feel like in a lot
No,
of the other,
like yeah, this movie is kicking off. It's like
like it's showing
superheroes
it.
have always been around.
Yeah, it's not like it's a new thing. It's just you are the new thing, and I
Yeah, it's
like
like
that.
it's a new movie, not a new universe. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone's not going to pretend to be like, where are all of these aliens coming from? Oh, whoa, what kind of movie? What is happening? That lady's on fire, but she's not screaming. Who is that? Someone get a fire extinguisher. Oh goodness, that man's ring is lighting up. Oh, turn it down. That's green
Lord of
bright,
mercy.
bright. Oh, look up the sky. It's a bird. It's no, it's a plane. Wait, what kind of plane is that? Holy shit.
Yeah. If that's not in the movie, I'm not watching. Uh that as and by the way, I didn't know that the David Cornsweet, he's 6'6". That is the tallest Superman actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, that's a tall dude. 6'6" is huge.
That's a tall man.
Anything Superman related, we got to bring in Earl, whatever his name is. We're dubbing this man Earl. Also, that came out of the blue this week was Amazon's animated TV series Batman Caped Crusader.
Yeah.
I like
It
that. It looks
looks
really
good.
good because I
It
think
looks good.
we're going back to like I think it was no, it wasn't the
The
50s.
40s.
It was the 40s. Thank you. I thought it was the 40s. Yeah, the 40s kind of style of comic book drawing with a full animation style, and Harley Quinn is being like a therapist, but at the same time, no one knows who the actual Harley Quinn is. It's like a masked vigilante kind of thing, or at least what I think it is. Not a
It's
lot of
yeah,
information.
it's in the vein of like a 40s aesthetic of,
Like crime.
because the Gotham in the animated series was like, what did you call it? Futurism or
Oh, retrofuturism.
yeah, retrofuturism, where it's like, they're in the past, but it's also not too far away from the past of like, there's still some technology there,
Yeah,
but it's
very
also
Incredibles. The Incredibles did
yeah,
that.
very Incredibles. But this one is like really going towards like the roots of like the first Batman.
Yeah,
And I'll be honest, I'm a sucker for like retro superhero suits. Like the Amazing Fantasy 15 suit to me will always be peak, just
mm.
because I'm just a sucker for it. And I also just love that spider and just like the web wings under, just it gets me hard.
I
So,
do
but
kind of like I do like the armpit web wings. Those are nice.
yeah, they need to bring them back. Like
They
not like using them as like just for like lighting, but also just how they look. I have always loved
it
that
was a
stuff.
nice aesthetic. I don't know. I just like it a lot.
And I think that that like messed up face looking character. I think that's Clayface, because in the when Clayface's first appearance, he wasn't made out of clay. It
Oh,
was
sorry. I thought you were talking about Superman Legacy. Yeah. I think that was because Clayface originally was just a dude with a morphed face.
that just like disguised himself into like an invisible man thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's closest I can come with that, and kind of sucks too because I think now the Batman Part Two they're gonna focus on Hush, because when there were rumors that was gonna be Clayface, I was like, that is so what a
They
good
could probably
idea.
do both. They could do both. They don't have to necessarily do the giant monster. They can just do the guy.
That's what
Yeah.
everyone was thinking. It's like not
Or
like
in
a
my opinion, I'd rather have Alan Tudyk from the Harley Quinn show, so he can be talking like this the entire time.
I think Alan would be too comedic for that.
I was being honest.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. Oh,
No,
I'm
no, God, no. Alan Tudyk is a great comedic Clayface. There's no way that Clayface would be perfect for the Matt Reeves. No, I think Alan
Where's
Tudyk
my
could be.
goddamn electric car, Bruce?
That is the second best line that Joker says. The first best line is, "Do you take me for a basic bitch?" Is the best line ever
That was
quoted.
really good.
Dude, so funny. Never not makes me laugh. But yes, where's my electric car, Bruce? So good. That's the Joker we need. That's the Matt Reeves Joker I'm begging for.
Not the one we deserve, but the one we need.
Yeah. Screw Matt, whatever his name is, Barry Keoghan. Get in Alan Tudyk's.
Heath Lamo. Let's get. All right, I'm not gonna fucking
What?
do it.
Okay. My
Heath
bitch.
Ledger.
Oh, Heath Lamo. Okay.
I gotta stop. I gotta stop with this. Shut the. Let's move on to the. Let's move on. I'm a little bit embarrassed right now.
No, you should. My Adventures with Superman season 2 starts in I think actually the end of this month in May. Very excited about that. If you haven't seen it, Yukon, go watch it now. This has been, I argue, the best Superman TV show ever. Superman and Lois is second because I don't think, including Jonathan and everything, very quick kind of allowed Lois and Clark to kind of have that relationship. We're kind of jumping into the middle of it, which is not a bad idea. But My Adventures with Superman, oh my god, so good because it brings in niche villains in a very creative way. And I also kind of liked how they brought in Mr. Mxyzptlk into the show and they made it like better than they could show on paper because he's a very animated villain. But it's kind of cool how he is of that universe because every Mxyzptlk is very different for every universe, which I think is kind of cool. But I think it's a great show. If you haven't seen it, it's on Max. You should watch it. It's not that long. It's a great show. We got it done very quickly. And also I liked how it was done weekly. It was a weekly release.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. That's been on my feed for like months when it
Yeah,
was coming out,
it was great.
like little moments.
Yeah.
Um, I'd still argue that Superman and Lois is the first one, but that's just my taste. I like an older Superman that's already been with Lois for so long, and they just have that relationship.
Yeah.
But my Adventures of Superman, aesthetically looks amazing.
Animation is so fun, and it has like a really fun cartoon opening. Like it's all visuals, and it's so good. And I think what this movie did better is what Man of Steel really couldn't do. And
Oh,
yeah, and before we get into the Man of Steel part, which is what I've been waiting because I texted you this last night. I know we kind of go back and forth and just recapping what's been going on this week, but I think we're back into the whole Marvel versus DC fight right now because for a while it was like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, and as well as other Marvel movies were coming out like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And we're like, oh, which one's the best? Because there were comic books still coming out in very fast variety at that time. And
I
now I
think
kind of
yeah, they're setting up the fight.
they're setting up
All
the
right,
fight. Yeah, this is like when Jake Paul and Mike
fight.
Tyson was announced. They did a little promo
This is
thing.
the announcements.
This
We're
is the
now
announcements. We're
we're
getting
now getting everything together.
yeah, they're
They're all
training.
being filmed.
Yeah, they're
They're
training,
James
and
Gunn is cooking.
yeah, they're training right now. And when July of next year comes around, when Superman comes out,
We
originally
be
titled
placing our
Superman Legacy,
bets.
well, that's not when the first one comes out. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I take it back because by that time, Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts will be coming out too. So that's when we got to start taking our bets. We got to get the ding ding, get the bell run, because the Man of Steel. I also prefer the better nickname in my opinion is the Last Son of Krypton. I think that's way better. The Last Son of Krypton is going up against Marvel's favorite family. And
Mhm.
I think this could be the best fight since because by that time it'll be a year. Jake Paul versus
America's
Mike,
favorite Boy Scout versus Marvel's first family.
and it's going to be a better fight than Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson because we clearly know who's that's going to
I
win.
think Thunderbolts will fall by like the third rank or something.
Yeah,
You
in
know,
terms of how good the movies are going to go, my bet right now is Fantastic Four, Superman, and then Thunderbolts.
yeah.
Those
I
two are
have
subject to change.
I need to see a trailer to Thunderbolts before I can confidently say that.
Yeah, I mean, out of the three that are coming out in July of next year or just of next year, that's the
I
ranking
am
I got right now.
so scared they're just gonna Suicide Squad them. I really
Well,
don't
there
want.
was a photo that came out recently of Sebastian Stan in Thunderbolts, and it's very like door salesman kind of look. Like he's got like a goatee and everything. It's kind of funny, but um, I think here's how I think the Superman Legacy trailer should end. The last shot we ever see should be Superman sitting in a cloud. That's that. If they do that, game
That should
over.
be a poster.
That should be a poster. Game over. Game over if that's a poster.
If
Because
that's a poster, I mean, dude,
if
like
they can
Kevin
do that with the
Feige,
Batman, remember the Batman posters having the secret messages on it when you shine the black light on
yeah,
it?
this is Kevin Feige. He's in this position right here. This literally a target right over here. All right.
I have to
James
edit this, Colin.
James Gunn will use the taint as a landing
All
strip.
right. No, no. This metaphor is getting out of hand. No, this is getting out of hand. No, I'm gonna try and
You'll
cut it.
censor that.
I'm gonna cut it. There's no way I'm putting that. I gotta figure that out. I gotta get around that. But before I wrap up, I wanted to tell this funny event that happened last night. Funny to me at least. My dad and I were talking this week, and I told him the new Superman thing, and he goes, What about that old movie we watched?" I was like, "Man of Steel." He's like, "Yeah, let's watch that." So we watched that Friday or last night, and the first beginning of it, I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie's very hit and miss. Like, there's a lot of this movie I think shows Superman in a great way, like when he does the first flight, starts with bounding and then soaring, like he did in the comics. I think that's great. I think the music is incredible. I think this is also the only Zack Snyder movie with like one or two slow mo shots. There's barely any slow mo in the entire movie, which I liked, if at all, because it's all about when he was a kid. So it's like the American flag waving slowly, or him running slowly as a kid with a little cape. Barely
Oh yeah.
anything, but in the actual scenes of action, thank God,
God.
because we talked about it last, or I haven't posted it yet, but in the May 4th one, yeesh. But when when I was talking to him about this movie, like Pa Kent's a bit much in this movie. He goes, "What do you mean?"
Bit of a monster.
Well, it's like, well, Pa Kent's supposed to be the human side of Clark, while his mom reminds him that he's human. Pa Kent begins this transition of being human, and as he grows up, and I was like, yeah, but he tells him he should have let the kids die. My dad's like, no, come on. So then when we get to the part of the movie, it happens like first 10 minutes of the movie. We're getting into the part of the movie, and he's like, what should have you just let him die? Maybe. And my dad just is like, what? Like he is shocked because he hasn't remembered anything about this movie. So essentially, this is my dad's first time watching this. So then the entire time we're watching this movie, there are more parts of this movie where they get to the tornado scene, and he's getting his foot stuck, and he's like, "It's a dog. It's a dog. Let it. It's a dog. Do not go back and get the dog." And then when he gets the dog out, he goes, "Great. Now you're gonna die." He's talking to this whole thing, and he gets to the part where he sticks his hand up, and my dad, swear to God, goes, "Nuh-uh, just get him, go, joom, back, there and forth." And he goes, and then he dies, and then he dies. He goes, "That is so dumb." I couldn't sit in my chair. I'm dying laughing. Is my
You
dad's
know
reaction to
what's
this whole thing is so great.
like Zack Snyder wanted to have an Uncle Ben moment when like typically if Paul ever did die, it was just from old age or like a heart
Yeah,
attack,
that's what Cameron said.
you
It's
know.
perfect.
And, I mean, it's really sad to see that we got that.
Yeah,
And
and a few times
it's
during the
really
movie,
sad of exposing myself more into
hey,
Superman.
it's called growth, Colin. We're all it's different people. It's called growth. But throughout the whole movie, where something crazy would be happening, he'd be like, "What is happening?" Like he would just be in shock. And at the very end, when the world engine was destroyed, and Perry was like, "He saved us," my dad within a second goes, I don't feel very saved. I mean, have you looked? He was like, "Have you looked around you? The city's gone." Like,
I
and
don't
then
feel
Zod and him start fighting. He goes, "Oh well, the town wasn't beat enough. Who cares who's gonna win? The town is gone." Like he is talking through this whole thing, and I love it. It's so funny. My dad,
what do you say? Zod's neck got snapped.
he just goes, he just takes out the longest sigh ever. I could name 7 things that they could
Can
have
I
done
be there?
differently.
Can I be there?
Oh, we gotta
When,
watch the Flash.
no, no, no. Can I be there to watch your dad watch Batman versus Superman?
He's already seen it and he doesn't like it. So here's my thought. I think we should show him the Flash because I
Zack
think that'll.
Snyder this league.
We watched that. He did not like that anymore too. I actually own that on DVD. I regret buying that on DVD. The thing is, I think we should show him the Flash because you own it. I
I
think we
don't.
should. I thought you bought it. Oh, well, we should rent it. But I think we should show him the Flash. I think that'd be awesome. But what was I gonna say? You mentioned something.
I own Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't
Yeah,
own.
we both own that one. I think watching the Flash with my dad would be a lot funnier because we watched the Flashpoint movie with him and he kind of liked that. So I think watching this one will be actually hilarious.
He just watches all those like dead people faces
Yeah, yeah, it's
and some that are alive that
don't look good.
that just
I'm just
have you
glad that. Let me say it like this to wrap it up: if any of these movies DC wise are the Flash, because if Superman fails, they're never making a DC movie again.
well, there are already projects that are in
I'm
development.
telling you
They're
right now, if they mess up Superman, they're gonna cancel all the projects. They're gonna make Peacemaker 2 because that got an update with Rick Flag Sr., who was in Creature Commandos, played by Frank Grumlow, who was Crossbones in the MCU. He's coming back to play Rick Flag Sr. in season 2. So he's gonna be all over the place because Creature Commandos is gonna be jumping between animation and live action, and then he's gonna go kick Peacemaker's ass for killing his kid. It's gonna be a lot. But if they drop the ball at any point, they're done. It
I don't
can't
think
happen.
there's going to be a lot of balls that are dropped. That sounded funny. Um, but I think that there's going to be like some, it was a good show, but I think that's the most that we'll probably get. Creature Commandos will probably just be a
It'll be fun.
good, like a fine show at
It'll be
least
fun.
a fine show. Again, it's James Gunn.
Yeah.
He hasn't, I can't think of like something that was so horribly bad that he made other
He
than a,
produced the Belko experiment.
yeah, but that's producer thing. It's
I
not
know.
really
What was the thing you said?
tweets. That's really the only horrible thing he's ever like written.
I think he
But
also
other
did
than that,
like he like did PG. He was a lot of weird. His filmography is interesting.
it's an interesting filmography. But I was also just breaking his balls. I'd say that like he understands. Like he's now on both sides
Yeah,
of like the creation of all these, like, he says that, like, they're not going to cast anybody unless if they have a script,
that's a good
you know
call. That's a good
and
call.
that's a really good call. It's like nothing's going to be in production until that script is done.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's actually a good call for a lot of things. I think
And
we do.
everybody's hammering and hollering, like, where we're gonna get the suit reveal, where we're gonna get the trailer, and just, you're never gonna please fans because we're just a bunch of like
I think also a
fucking.
lot of it was excitement because the cast was crazy good. I mean, a lot of the cast was incredible.
But people still found a way to bitch about it. Like, I think regardless, I think it's gonna be a good movie. I think it's gonna make money, and I think it's gonna be a solid way to start the universe.
Yeah.
He already built a little bit of it by like dropping Mixel Pitalik in that Peacemaker show, or even those other
What?
like, yeah. They mentioned Mixel Pitalik, and he's like, "Who's that?" He's like, some interdimensional imp that stands Batman.
That's Bat Kid.
Bat might Mixel Pit. They're still the same like beings.
Oh,
Who cares? But
oh no,
regardless,
I thought I missed a whole Pixel cameo, man. Oof.
no, no, no. That was a big thing. That
Okay,
was
yeah,
like,
I know. Batmite, yes, Batmite was a fun thing to see.
yeah.
Sorry, I was
And
like, there's no way.
and with James Gunn and his zany sense of humor, you can really get into like some like Superman territory. And he's already doing that with that giant ball in the sky that's shooting down. And it looked like Superman was like done with his day until he sees that in the background. He's like, all right.
Oh, sheesh. All right. Yeah,
I
it
hated
was pretty good.
I hated when people were breaking it down. It's like, why does he look so sad? Why is he emo? And it's like, well, it's
He's
actually kind of in Superman's character, because it's like, is he like now putting on his suit? And it's like, no, it's kind of like that thing, like as like a parent when like you're starting to unwind and then you're like getting your shoes off and then you hear dad, and he's like, back on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good way to put it. And one big thing about the cast that I loved when they added Eddie Gathegi, I hope I'm saying his name right, as Mr. Terrific, who was Darwin in X-Men First Class, who did not get enough screen time.
I was really happy, dude. Mr. Terrific.
So good.
If you've ever like read, like, because like Mr. Terrific has popped up in like animated shows here and
Yeah.
there, but my favorite, like in any written, like Mr. Terrific and Strange Adventures by Tom King is amazing, and it really showcases how intelligent and how smart he is.
Mhm.
Like he's investigating like a certain murder, and I'm not going to spoil it, but like just how he gets to the bottom of it. And during the investigation, he has this little ball that quizzes him. And like as he's going about his day or doing everything, it's just constant like, what's the surface area, blah blah blah, or like what year was blah blah, and he's always answering and answering and answering, just showcasing how smart he is.
And they picked a
I,
great actor, and I think that
they
Eddie
picked a
deserved
great
to get a
actor.
chance. He deserved a better chance than what he got
I
for
haven't
X Men.
I haven't seen that actor around, but also he's got the
Yeah.
look, and if he's gonna
Oh
bulk up
God,
as
yes.
well, hope so.
Yeah, and because well, he was in the movie The Harder They Fall that came out 2021. Did you catch that? Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, the cowboy western movie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
couldn't fit it. It was a very long movie, but I liked I liked how it was written, and
So good. I
I
loved that a
love
lot.
that train sequence too. Like that train of just like, please excuse my very I forget where, but like it was just like it reminded me a lot of like Quentin Tarantino dialogue of just like very whimsical like threats and stuff.
Mm.
And plus that one chick from Watchmen
Mm.
who maybe Dr. Manhattan, we don't know.
I
She
don't
was
know.
in it and she was great in it too. And
Yeah.
it was stacked cast. And
Yeah, it's a great
Zazie Beetz.
cast. Zazie Beats was in it. She had a
Zazie
bit of
Beetz was in it.
yes. Oh, I gotta love me some Zazie. I hope she comes back as a cameo for Domino in Deadpool 3. I did not see her in any of the new footage. I hope they bring her back. I like Domino a lot. He was great.
She talked about it in an Invincible interview,
Did
and
yes.
she said that, I haven't gotten a call, but also who knows, because sometimes like you get called on the day, so
Yeah,
I
because
might.
they're in reshoots right now. So or
Yeah,
they
I
were.
hope so. It would be sad. I liked her Domino a lot.
Yeah, it was great. Well, that about wrap it up. Episode 16, Marvel vs. DC. I think there's a lot that we have going on. This was kind of like just the promo. This was the debut time fight. We got July of 2025 as the actual match. That is when the first round are gonna go. We don't know if it's gonna be a TKO or they're gonna go the distance. And frankly, I'm excited to figure the whole thing out. But there's a lot more that DC hasn't announced yet because we still have the Brave and the Bold. We have so many great stories that we haven't gotten yet. And frankly, I'm super
Yeah,
excited for it. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe. We really appreciate you guys watching here. If you guys listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to click that little what
the Spotify, you're
I was trying to do the wave and it
like,
did not work. It did not work. I'm sorry. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Be sure you guys are listening there, and also click the plus button. We have a lot of fun stuff there. Check out past episodes of season 3. We are at 16 episodes right now. You guys can check out the other 15. We've had a lot of fun. My personal favorite so far has been the Disney Infinity one. That truly was so
that's
much
been
fun.
a favorite of mine too. That was a great
That
discussion.
was a great one. And then we also are on Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd. Currently still on TikTok. I don't know what the feature of that is, but check it all out in the description below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.